Welcome to Frontline at 6 o'clock here on the East Coast, and we begin tonight in Pennsylvania, where President Trump is sounding the alarm that America's military can't afford to fall behind, highlighting the need to strengthen military capabilities, invest in advanced battlefield technology, and ramp up production to rebuild weapons stockpiles significantly impacted by the Iran war. Plus, California's latest revenue plan: follow the money, literally. After chasing out the wealthy by overtaxing them, the Golden State is now exploring ways to keep taxing billionaires who fled to lower tax states. When will the Democrats ever learn? And if you skip work, if I do, you face serious repercussions for it. So why should Congress be any different? Well, a new House bill would require lawmakers to publicly explain why they're missing votes and spending time away from Capitol Hill. After all, we're the ones paying their salary. But first, the battle over ICE traffic stops heads into another day. I'm Lidia Curanaj in for Carl Higbie, and Frontline starts right now. The Trump administration reversing course after it was revealed yesterday that ICE agents could no longer conduct vehicle stops when trying to arrest an illegal alien. The president writing in part this morning, quote, "We cannot give up one of ICE's most important and effective crime-fighting tools, the traffic stop." Trump wrote this on Truth Social. "Once we do, we are playing right into the criminals' hands." You know, by taking away an ICE agent's ability to do his or her job, you essentially put them in danger as well as all of us. Border Czar Tom Homan called the whole ICE agents won't stop cars anymore a temporary pause. Well, the pause was in response to an ICE agent killing an illegal alien from Colombia on Monday in Maine.
I'm sick and tired of reading about how the administration has lost their guts with, mass deportations. And do you know June, last month, ICE arrested more aliens than any month in the history of the agency.
And they need to keep up that momentum. You know, one eyewitness to that incident in Maine has already come forward saying that the agent had no choice but to shoot. But don't tell that to the libs who are already out on the streets protesting.
They contaminated the crime scene, too, so it's pretty up.
So there wasn't any sort of details about self-defense or anything like that, right?
Absolutely not. Seems like it was just a brazen killing.
You know this for a fact.
That's what all of the facts appear to be.
Oh, yeah, they got that inside knowledge. You know, where was this outrage when Laken Riley was raped and murdered? Rachel Marin, she was a mother of 5. Jocelyn Ngare, only 12 years old. This isn't really, though, if you think about this isn't about vehicle stops. It's not even really about ICE agents. This is about whether we remain a country of law and order, whether our border even matters, whether being an American citizen still means something, whether protecting innocent Americans should be prioritized over criminals.
If you see ICE disappearing people in the streets, will you get in the way? Yes! If you are charged with enforcing any part of the president's unlawful executive orders, will you resist? Yes! If your neighbor needs a place to hide, will you hide them? Yes! And right now, as the Maine legislature is trying to scapegoat transgender student athletes bargaining long-held civil rights away.
What? Why do they all look like this? You know, I mean, look at the shoes, whatever. They're miserable, overweight, angry. Just look at her, him, whatever. Instructing people to violate federal law. I guarantee you, none of those people that were like, yes, would ever harbor a random illegal alien in their homes. And please tell me how transgender civil rights comes into all of this. Come on. Meantime, as if on cue, Democrat leaders are launching another misinformation campaign.
Immigrants are less likely to murder people than other American citizens. If you're worried about being murdered, and I don't want to be murdered, but you're much more likely to be murdered by, an ex-spouse that's mad at you, somebody who you fired from a job. You're much more likely to be killed by another American than you are an immigrant.
She's making zero sense. By the way, the man behind this wheel, speaking of illegal aliens, this is the guy that caused a fiery crash in Southern California, which killed 3 people last year. Well, guess what, lady? He was an illegal alien committing a crime, okay? 3 people died. But if you thought that that guy, the illegal from India, would spend the rest of his life behind bars, think again. Think again, folks. 21-year-old illegal from India was just sentenced to only 4 years and 8 months. Trump addressed illegals with these illegal licenses today. Listen.
Today, I'm making one more important announcement. My administration will soon take historic action to get illegal alien truck drivers who are just killing a lot of people. They can't read signs. Many of them are on drugs or alcohol, and they shouldn't be driving these things. And the radical left is very much opposed to that, but it doesn't matter what they want because we're the ones that are running it.
So illegal aliens can get driver's licenses, and we know they can also get Social Security numbers. Yeah, something that the left tells us doesn't happen, right? President Trump, he has to go full speed ahead on these mass deportations. ICE agents, they are trained professionals. They are obligated to do the job we taxpayers have hired them to do, and they need all the tools available to do so. And here's something the libs, they forget. Trump didn't invent this mass deportation effort. It was a mandate given to him by almost 80 million Americans. That's why we put him back in the White House. This is a promise Trump must fulfill, whether the haters like it or not.
We shall live in peace someday.
Why are they always singing? Can't they come up with better songs? And, you know, these people, those people, they should have zero say in any kind of immigration policy. We should never capitulate to them. We should actually do the opposite of whatever they want to say, especially these same people who have questionable immigration status themselves.
Seen them terrorize so many citizens, and so it is not helpful for us to have ICE agents unlawfully just carrying out these ridiculous raids.
So that was the voice of Congresswoman Ilhan Omar. Some people did something. Remember, that's what she said on 9/11. Prosecute ICE, Congresswoman? That's rich. Coming from the lady accused of marrying her brother so she could stay in this country. I'm sorry I'm upset. This just riles me up because it's easy for them to demonize ICE agents. They didn't lose their kid to fentanyl smuggled in across the border. They didn't lose their daughter to a truck driver. Their daughter raped or killed. If restoring ICE's ability to do its job prevents just one single American family from experiencing that kind of hellish nightmare, then the reversal to allow ICE agents to do its job wasn't just justified. It's our government's most fundamental responsibility and obligation to keep us safe and preserve our republic. Joining me now, Angel Dad, Marcus Coleman. Marcus, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. How are you doing?
I know this all hits kind of close to home for you, right? An illegal alien from India was behind the wheel of an 18-wheeler that caused a crash that devastated your family and impact your feeling to this very day. The crash left your beautiful 5-year-old daughter, Delilah, with critical life-altering injuries. So when you hear Democrats, when you hear these protesters defending illegals, singing songs, what goes through your mind?
It's definitely some bored people, have nothing better to do. The majority of them don't know what they're talking about. I've sat there and I've had conversations with them and arguments with them regarding this, and the notion's the same. It's such a low percent, and it's like I told them, you know, if you feel that number is low, how high does the number have to be? Like how many? Like you're basically asking for more people to get killed for it to make sense to you, which doesn't make any sense at all. And on top of that, if they're sitting there so willingly to let people into the United States, why are they not letting them into their home? You know, if I was to go break inside somebody's house, the police would come kick me out, and the person that I broke into their house, they would fully support that. And so would each one of these people that are standing out there. If I was to go break inside their house, the first person they would call would be the police to get me out. You know, this is just on a much grander scale. It doesn't affect them personally. Therefore, they really don't care.
Yeah, they don't, because it's a narrative that the left wants, because at the end of the day, they just want to get Trump. Now, Department of Homeland Security Secretary Mark Wayne Mullen, he posted this a short time ago that ICE agents are facing more than a 1,300% increase in vehicle attacks. And, you know, this is also to keep those agents safe. An eyewitness says in this Maine incident, again, similar to what we saw in Minnesota with Renee Good, this illegal alien was trying to evade capture, and he was trying to use his car to kill an ICE agent. So the ICE agent did what he had to do to save his own life, save the life of his fellow agents, as well as maybe innocent bystanders. So why are these people protesting ICE? I mean, these ICE agents, they're doing their job.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, if you were to go out and do this to a police officer, you get the same repercussion. I'm not understanding why people think it's okay to sit there and attack a federal agent that's doing their job that they're elected to do. That's what they're supposed to be doing. You know, sitting there having your strike and your protest, I'm all for it. You know, this is America. You can do what you want. But when you sit there and you play in the street, you get ran over, you're going to sit there and accuse a person for doing, you know, harm to you when you're the one that put yourself in harm's way. It doesn't make any sense to me how they're sitting there poking the bear and then they want to get upset when they get it, you know, something happens to them.
How is Delilah doing today?
Delilah's fine. We're actually here at her therapy. That's why I'm in the van right now. She just got done doing therapy. She started here at CNS and she's doing very well. She got 5 hours a day of therapy. So she's progressing well. She does have to go back in. Her skull did not take. So they have to go back. You guys are the first people that I'm letting know about this. Her skull did not take. It's actually dying.
Her
the
skull
piece that they
did
put
not
back
take?
in.
What do you mean?
It did not take.
So
On
like
that
they were
photo right
they
there,
were going to redo her skull?
So on the photo you have on there right now, they replaced that piece of skull and it's actually dying. It didn't take. Her body's kind of rejecting it a little bit. So she's going in on August 3rd and they're going to remove the skull piece and they're going to put in a fake piece inside there. So again, another thing from illegal immigrants that, you know, we're having to sit here and just continue living this tragedy. Well, they sit here, they commit crimes, they self-deport. You know, he's back in India doing what he wants to do, you know, out there selling bread or doing whatever it is that he does out there. And we're here at CNS every day from 10 to 3. We'll be here with her therapy for the next 6 months. And then we're going to go from there and doctor's visits and surgeries and, you know,
And he
it's
just got off.
life-altering.
He's in India.
Yeah.
What do you think about
jail
this
time,
guy
nothing.
that just got 4 years only in 8 months?
I think it's
3 people.
sickening. Yeah, I think it's sickening. It doesn't make any sense for that to happen at all. I think it's sickening. You know, he took 3 people off the face of the earth, all because he wanted to live the American dream at the cost of 3 people's American dreams. It makes no sense at all.
Marcus, I'm so sorry for what you guys are going through, but may God continue to be with you and give you strength. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate you having us.
All right, joining me now is the director of the White House Office of National Drug Control Policy, Sara Carter. She's also known as Trump's drug czar. Sara, thank you so much for joining us. I mentioned in my opening statement there about the fentanyl deaths as well. The Democrats, and the people you see out protesting in the streets, do they not care about the death toll? I mean, President Trump, the toll, thankfully, under his leadership and yours, of course, has plunged, dropped 22% in a single year from 48,000 in 2024 to 38,000 in 2025. Total overdose drug deaths have plummeted also 14% from 81,000 to about 70,000. America also recording its lowest overall death rate in 2025. But there's still a lot more work to be done. What do you think, Sara?
There is a lot more work to be done. But first, my heart goes out to Marcus Coleman from the White House, from the administration as a whole. We understand his pain. I was just recently in Orlando with CADCA and Fentanyl Free America with DEA Administrator Terry Cole. And I was there with so many families, Lydia, so many families who have lost their loved ones, who lost a child to fentanyl poisoning and overdose deaths. And, you know, this narrative from the left, this false narrative that the Trump administration is doing something wrong, that we're out there, that we don't care about immigrants. We care about immigrants. We care about the people of the United States of America. And that's why we shut down that border. Shutting down that border with President Donald J. Trump has saved numerous lives, both here in the United States, as well as those people that were being trafficked by these nefarious organizations, these cartels that have brutalized not only the American public with their narcotics and their drugs, but have brutalized people from their own nations, made them prisoners in shackles in their own countries, and conducted human trafficking and every other incident that you can imagine to children. They have sold children to pedophiles. They have done things that are unmentioned unmentionable. And so we are fighting for humanity. We are fighting for the American people, and we are protecting lives every single day so that there is no more Marcus Coleman fathers out there that are fighting for their children's lives on television. His daughter should not be suffering the way that she is suffering in a hospital every single day, undergoing therapy and undergoing severe and very traumatizing surgery, you know, at such a young age. So it's up to us and to the American people. And as far as fentanyl deaths, we can see that it's continuously going down under the Trump administration. And why are we seeing the death rates go down from overdose and fentanyl deaths? Because we're doing the job for the American people. We're protecting the national security. We have shut down that border. We have targeted the cartels. We have told the cartels under no measure, you will never, ever operate under this administration with impunity ever again. We are going after you. We have taken down some of the biggest cartel leaders. We have Chapo Guzman of the Sinaloa cartel. El Mencho is dead. We worked closely with Mexico on that, and we're able to target the head of CJ&G. We have made a promise to the American people that we will deport those members from these organizations out of our country. We're going to get those gang members out, and then we're going to hold accountable those that have targeted our nation, and we're doing just that. So both with our Department of War as well as HHS and every single agency that is fighting this drug war, whether it's all 18 agencies that we oversee right now and the $42.6 billion of taxpayer money, that is going to protect the American people.
Sarah, before I let you go, what is your message to, say, Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, who continues to prioritize illegal aliens before Americans?
Your days are numbered in Congress, because it's like, how can you continue to do that to the American people? These are your constituents. These are the people that care about you. And, these are the people that care about this government, that care about this nation. We have to fight first for our country, and fighting for our country puts the Western Hemisphere first, right? So if we're protecting Americans, we're also protecting others who are trying to come here the right way, the legal way, to make a life for themselves here in this nation. And I think that's the message that all congressional members have to understand, is that, and everyone serving in government, including me, we're the servant of the people. We are here to serve the American people. We need to do our job. And if we are not doing our job, then we need to be removed.
Sara Carter, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Coming up, the man who couldn't form a sentence or remember where he was walking as our president is now apparently releasing a tell-all book about his presidential bid. Biden's staff probably had to tell him what happened first. We've got that later on in the show. But first, Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche on the Hill today before the Senate Judiciary Committee, making his case to confirm his nomination as Attorney General. One of the senators who was in that hearing joins me next.
Whoa. I need a medic.
No warning, no time. When suspects turn violent, officers have seconds to survive. Watch the Caught on Body Cam series for the drama, the actual footage.
Suspect down! Suspect down!
The real life, all on Newsmax Plus. Start your free trial today at newsmaxplus.com.
Your mouthwash routine just got a whole lot smarter. Use Smart Mouth Activated Morning Mouthwash with B12 for all-day bad breath prevention, guaranteed. If your mouthwash isn't activated, it's not Smart Mouth. Kickstart your morning. Get Smart Mouth Activated Mouthwash with B12.
At Omaha Steaks, we take premium aged steak and turn it into pure ground burgers like this. Our Burger Perfection Flight comes with 20 big, juicy burgers, all for just $79.99 at omahasteaks.com/TV. Burger Perfection guaranteed.
I was tired of sitting on the sideline. Now, thanks to Jointivia, I'm back in the swing of things. Wait, $70 for a refill?
You gotta try Single Care. Just look up your prescription, show the coupon at the pharmacy, and save.
Really?
Really. Single Care crushes the cost of my prescription, almost as much as I'm crushing Chad.
Unbelievable. See why more people are saving with Single Care. Common side effects include shockingly lower prices, excessive fist bumps, and humbling guys named Chad.
You can join the Tunnel to Towers mission to do good by donating your car to today's veterans. Your car donation will help Gold Star families, as well as injured veterans, our first responders, and our homeless veterans. Donating your car is quick and simple. Any car is accepted, and we will pick up the car for free. Simply call 844-BRAVES.
By donating your car, you can make a real difference. You can do good.
All eyes on Todd Blanche as the Senate Judiciary Committee kicked off day one of the two-day confirmation hearing as Trump's pick for Attorney General. Let's take a listen to the acting AG's opening statement.
I'm proud of what we've done to help American families see safer streets and to have a fair shot at the life they're working to build. None of this is a Republican or Democrat issue. Every senator here has constituents who just want to be safe. The men and women of this department are the finest people I have ever worked with, and leading them is the honor of my professional life. We are keeping America safe, and we are just getting started.
First, Democrats brought their insufferable attitudes and questions to the hearing. Senator Whitehouse asking Blanche about the FBI.
How long do you intend to put up with that Kash Patel character? Are you good with his airplane jaunts? Are you confident he's not drinking on the job? Are you sure none of his travel is a pretext for vacation activities like snorkeling, Olympics, and visiting girlfriends? Are you sure he knows what he's doing? Do you vouch for him? Are you willing to look at whether he lied to this committee?
That's an extraordinarily obnoxious question, Senator, and I have full faith in Director Patel and the work that he's doing every day.
Great, you get to own that.
So obnoxious. Joining me now, one of the members in that hearing, Missouri Senator and member of the Senate Judiciary Committee, Senator Eric Schmitt. Senator, thank you so much for joining us. I see you smiling right there. What went through your mind as they ask those ridiculous questions of the acting AG?
I mean, it's sometimes when I'm in those committee hearings, I'll be honest, it's like being in a parallel universe. You're like hovering over the proceedings and you can't believe what you're hearing. They were talking about how this Department of Justice was, you know, the most dysfunctional. And I reminded them in my questioning that we lived through the worst period of weaponization we've ever seen in this country under the Biden regime with Merrick Garland and Jack Smith, and the revelations that have come out and all the things they were willing to do to go after President Trump and Catholics and parents. I mean, the list goes on. And so really what we're looking for, and I think Todd Blanche has already proven his ability to do that, is restore the Department of Justice to actually going after violent criminals, going after fraud. And so he's got a track record on that. And I thought he did very well today, despite the Democrats' antics.
I know. I think people forget that little old ladies were thrown into the gulag for saying the rosary outside of abortion clinics. Monks were being dragged off to prison. Meantime, we saw during the BLM riots, they sued, they actually won money. So we had such a lopsided justice system. Now, Todd Blanche, if anything, he's almost overqualified, right? Let's take a little look at his track record. Distinguished private sector record, 15 years in the service in the Justice Department. Served as President Trump's criminal defense lawyer. Ran legal team fighting DA Bragg, hush money case. He represented Trump against Jack Smith. He led the charge in the classified documents case at Mar-a-Lago. Flawless performance as a U.S. attorney in New York. Running DOJ as interim since April. Overseeing 100,000 staff. I mean, it goes on and on. And you also pointed out on X a list of accomplishments that he's made in the first 100 days. So what do you think about, will he get confirmed, and are there any hesitations that you may have?
Not for me. He's 100% qualified. I fully support Todd Blanche's nomination to be the next permanent Attorney General. He's the acting AG right now. And you hit the nail on the head. He's extremely qualified. And if you notice, none of the Democrats today in that hearing really went after his qualifications because they can't. So what did they do? They whined about things because President Trump won the election. And meanwhile, this is a party that just a couple months ago was seeking to defund ICE. Their North Star has been for 10 years defund the police. They weaponize the Justice Department. They don't want to enforce our immigration laws. They're a lawless party. It's all they have is this TDS. And they take it out on every witness that comes before that committee. But Todd Blanche is eminently qualified and should be confirmed.
I want to get your quick thoughts on Jack Smith and Arctic Frost. Remember when he said this under oath?
Did the toll records that you requested from the senators, did they include the content of the phone calls?
No.
Did the records that you requested, the toll records from the members of Congress, include the content of text messages?
No.
Well, it turns out that was a lie because the Judiciary Committee just confirmed that Jack Smith's team secretly obtained text messages from 44 members of Congress during his probe into President Trump. You've now called for a full investigation into this. Will this guy be held accountable? He lied under oath right there.
He should. He violated the law right there. I mean, you've got the receipt that you just showed your entire audience of him lying under oath to Congress. That's a crime. And as he said before, nobody's above the law. And so Jack Smith went on this expedition charged by Merrick Garland 2 days after President Trump announced he was running for re-election to show me the man, I'll show you the crime, a Soviet-style form of justice where he wanted this big show trial. President Trump beat him in court, but they were trying to put him away for the rest of his life and bankrupt his family. So that is the most egregious abuse of our justice system we've ever seen. Now it turns out that the guy who is proclaiming to be this crusader is truly just a dirtbag who lied to Congress.
I truly believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, that if President Trump had not won this election, he'd be behind bars right now as we speak. That's how much they feared him. That's how much they hate him. Senator Eric Schmitt, thank you, sir, so much for joining us.
Great to be with you. Yep.
Coming up, as if the libs couldn't get more embarrassing, the party that tells everyone to trust the science, well, they think men can actually have babies. All that and much more in our Culture Clash next.
Information. Truth. Is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.
If your roof looks like this, your home is at risk. A new metal roof from Erie Home withstands wind up to 120 miles per hour and hail up to 2 inches, all backed by a 50-year warranty. Call now for 50% off installation. Get your free estimate now.
Fanapt allopurinol is approved for adults with bipolar 1 disorder with acute, mixed, or manic episodes. Unlike some drugs for bipolar 1 disorder, nausea, vomiting, and restlessness are not common with Fanapt. Fanapt may be associated with serious side effects. Elderly patients with dementia-related psychosis treated with antipsychotics are at increased risk of stroke or death. Fanapt is not approved for elderly with dementia-related psychosis. Fanapt prolongs the QT interval and may be associated with abnormal heart rhythm or sudden death. In 5% or more of people in clinical trials, heart rate increases, dizziness, hypotension, weight gain, dry mouth, stuffy nose, sleepiness, and increases in liver enzymes have been observed. These are not all the side effects. Talk to your prescriber and learn more at fanapt.com. By Vanda Pharmaceuticals.
If your flow doesn't go like it used to, if it's pee o'clock again, it could be an enlarged prostate blocking the way. The Urolift system is a minimally invasive, non-destructive treatment for men 45 and over that simply lifts the problem out of the way. Ask your urologist about the Urolift system. Most common side effects are temporary and can include discomfort when urinating, urgency, inability to control the urge, pelvic pain, and some blood in the urine. Rare side effects, including bleeding and infection, may lead to a serious outcome and may require intervention. The Urolift system for rapid symptom relief.
It was supposed to be the perfect gateway. Instead, it became an open door for cyber criminals. But that threat stops right here. Built by Americans for America. PC-Matic defends our homes, our businesses, and our government. Don't let them compromise your identity. Get our all-in-one solution today. Visit PCMatic.com.
Some wireless companies say that they stand for something. What exactly do they stand for, and why won't they say it out loud? Let me tell you what Patriot Mobile stands for. They stand for the lives of the unborn. They stand for the Second Amendment and the right to protect yourself and your family. They stand for our veterans and first responders who sacrifice so much for our freedom. Make the switch to Patriot Mobile today and support a company that doesn't just say they stand for something, but one that stands for the things that matter the most.
Another lost summer scrolling and swiping? Turns out the fix is right here. Create new lifetime memories from the comfort of your backyard. No passports, no reservations. Latham's premium handcrafted pools can be installed in weeks. Our pools won't stain or crack and never require costly resurfacing. And with our crystal finish, you can bring your favorite exotic watercolor and shimmer right to your own backyard. Visit LathamPool.com now. Latham is a proud sponsor of USA Artistic Swimming.
Liberal delusion is on full display. Just because you say something is true doesn't mean it is, like men being able to have babies. Watch this.
Has a non-biological woman ever had a baby?
A transgender person can.
That's not a biological woman. Has a non-biological woman ever had a baby?
I would reiterate, we
it's
take
ridiculous.
He's like, the woke police will come after me if I tell the truth. That guy right there, that's who's teaching your kids. He's a doctor, Dr. Sam Hawgood. He is a chancellor of the University of California in San Francisco. Joining us now, host of the Grace Curley Show, Grace Curley, also with us, CEO of Citizens Alliance, Cliff Maloney. Grace, I mean, that's what they're afraid of, right? Because he knows that only women can have children, but they're so afraid of the radical left that they're frozen in fear. What do you think?
Absolutely. And in the teaser for this segment, you said such a critical phrase, trust the science. And it just reminded me that what these physicians should be doing every time they get out there, what the left should be having a full court press on, is trying to regain a semblance of credibility. They lost so much trust from the American public during the COVID 2020, and they should be trying to regain that every single time they go out in public. And instead, they continue to do this. And you know, there's always this argument from the left of, oh, you know, this is just Republicans and red meat. But why does this happen in so many hearings? Why are there always these struggle sessions of acknowledging reality anytime any of these doctors are in front of a microphone? It's really scary.
It really is. And these are the same people that are trying to dictate policy, right? When it comes to immigration and other important issues for Americans. It's like you don't even know where babies come from. The little kid from kindergarten cop knows better than you do. Now, speaking of men who think that they're women, I want you to look at this guy. He's pretending to be a woman. He fled the United States for Netherlands for asylum because President Trump became the president. And now he regrets it. Watch this.
Oh, it's scary. It's legitimately scary. I decided that my mental health is degrading so substantially being here that I just need to get out. And the situation that I have in the U.S. as a trans person, not good, right? But here I will be hurt or killed.
Cliff, that's because migrants, illegal aliens, have been going after him. I mean, you really can't make this stuff up. And I say give them all a one-way ticket to wherever they want to go.
Now, look, if you tried to write this script, you would not be able to make it as funny as this is. The guy flees the U.S. And this is a guy, by the way. Okay, if I put on a wig, I'm not a woman all of a sudden. That's a dude on the screen.
But you'd still be better looking than this guy.
I appreciate that. But no, look, he flees the U.S. because they are so deep into this belief, they've been brainwashed, that the U.S. is this horrible place for transgender people. This White House, this administration, by far has been the most pro-LGBTQ plus whatever in the history of the United States. But they're believing the nonsense, and it's so funny to see them leave, and then the grass is not always greener on the other side.
You know, Grace, I want to get to this story, which kind of shocked me, but not really. An artist, Sergio Fornari, he's set to unveil a beautiful new Charlie Kirk monument in New York City's Times Square on September 10th, marking the one-year anniversary since his death. And it has the so-called Party of Peace losing their minds. You already have libs like Harry Sisson encouraging destruction. He wrote, "They're putting it in Times Square. I give the statue maybe 10 minutes. Grace, please explain to me why and who would make it only last a few minutes. What do you think?
I don't know. Harry should really elaborate on what he means by that. You know, part of the reason why I actually think this is a beautiful idea, and maybe I'll get roasted in the comments online, but Charlie Kirk was known for, revered for going into hostile environments with people who didn't always agree with him and doing it with such grace and such poise and such a willingness to hear out other people. And the fact that he made such an impact that now even his statue is going to drive these people insane. It shows you just a mental weakness that is out there for anything that contradicts your worldview, that a statue of a wonderful guy is going to drive people insane. And he drove them so insane that they killed him. I mean, it's really beyond what I can even wrap my head around. And I say, put the statue there. And if people want to ruin it, it says a lot more about those people than it does about Charlie Kirk.
Cliff, 30 seconds to you. What do you think about that? I mean, why would you want to deface a beautiful statue? What did Charlie Kirk ever do to anyone?
Well, first, rest in peace to Charlie and everybody around him. But I just want to say, that's what the left does. They turn to violence. They proved this when they killed Charlie nearly a year ago, and they're proving it now with the rhetoric online. When you can't beat somebody with ideas, you turn to violence. That was Charlie's point, and once again, the left is proving that.
Grace and Cliff, thank you both.
Thanks so much.
Coming up, as President Trump takes the stage at a Defense and Innovation Summit today, Iran hit with another fresh wave of U.S. strikes. But President Trump says they want to settle badly. Could the violence tip the region back into an all-out war? Could we be ramping up efforts? We're going to talk about this with our military panel coming up.
The press won't report the real story.
The American people are actually very smart.
Ridiculous statements.
These guys are just plain weird.
Actual scandals.
Even the immunity decision. I mean, that decision was so misreported.
That's my job, and I aim to do it every night.
This July at Renewal by Andersen. Replace your windows, your patio doors, or your entry door, and we're going to give you an amazing opportunity. You ready? Pay nothing, and I mean zero zilch nada, for 18 months. I'm talking about no deposit, no monthly payments, and no interest until January of 2028. Choosing Renewal by Andersen to replace your windows and doors makes your home worth more. 3 out of 4 real estate agents surveyed agree Andersen products increase a home's value by at least 10%. Do the math. I think you're going to be happy. Let us show you colors, styles, and inspiration for your home. Get started by meeting with one of our design consultants by July 31st. Don't wait. Call 1-800-264-0500.
People always ask, why Patriot Gold Group? With over 10,000 clients to date and over $1 billion in transactions, not a single complaint on the Better Business Bureau. Consumer Affairs top rated for 9 years in a row. Over 2,000 5-star reviews. The only company nationwide where you, the client, work directly with an owner. Home of the no fee for life IRA. Gold is up 80% in the last 28 months, 275% since Lehman Brothers collapsed. We are patriots protecting patriots. Give Patriot Gold Group a call at 888-528-4290 before it's too late. Patriot Gold Group is Consumer Affairs' top-rated gold and silver dealer 9 years in a row. Call now, 888-528-4290.
Hello, this is Franklin Graham. Samaritan's Purse is responding to the deadly earthquakes that struck Venezuela on the 24th of June. 2 back-to-back earthquakes. Hundreds and thousands of people have been injured. Thousands of people are missing. The people are hurting. Samaritan's Purse has taken a field hospital. We've got doctors and nurses, and we're responding right now to the people that have lost so much. We've taken water purification. We've taken solar lights, a lot of things. We need your prayers and we need your help. God bless you.
Now tirzepatide for weight management is available in a dissolvable tablet. It's not the injection and doesn't offer the same strength or clinical evidence as the injectable form, and results will differ from the injection. But for patients who don't want shots, this tablet option is worth exploring. Understanding results will differ from the injection. Tirzepatide tablets are a prescription that starts with a telehealth evaluation by a licensed physician who reviews your health history. And if it's right for you, they prescribe it. This might be worth a conversation.
From senior to childcare to pets and more, the new Care.com makes it easier than ever to find the care you need. And you don't have to hire just anyone. You can find a background-checked caregiver who's the right fit for you. Join now and find care at Care.com.
President Trump took the stage in Pennsylvania today, speaking at the Defense and Innovation Summit, and addressed the ongoing conflict in Iran.
This afternoon, we're announcing nearly $10 billion of new investments in our defense industrial base right here in the great Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. There's never been anything like it. The country is as hot as it's ever been, and we're doing really well with Iran. The Islamic Republic of Iran is not happy right now. Should have been done 47 years ago. They want to settle so badly. They don't like what we're doing. And they do want to settle. We'll find out whether or not we settle with them or we just finish it off.
Settle? Wow, finish it off. The president, you're not mincing words. Meantime, U.S. Central Command completed more strikes against Iran around 7:30 this morning. This came after another fresh night of strikes hitting dozens of military targets near the Strait of Hormuz and Iranian coastal areas. Joining me now, retired U.S. Navy SEAL officer and Chief Talent Officer of Overwatch Mission Critical, Mike Sarraille. Also with us, former White House official, former Pentagon press secretary, and 26-year Navy Captain Morgan Murphy. Captain Murphy, let's start with you. Trump saying Iran will soon be defeated. We've heard this before. Could it finally be happening this time?
Well, you know, the president, it's amazing to hear the president talk about targeting, and he really has shown a great deal of restraint as it comes to Iran. He said, you know, we don't want to take out civilian infrastructure. We don't want to take out your power plants. We don't want to take out your bridges. These are things that take years, if not decades, to build. And our beef is not with the people of Iran, but it's with their crazy leadership. And so the president has really used kid gloves. He's gone after hard military targets. And you see the Iranians are degraded to the point where, you know, yes, they're targeting ships, but they're targeting civilian ships because they can't come at the United States directly.
And now, Mike, Axios is reporting that Trump hosted a Situation Room meeting last night to discuss the potential seizure of Karg Islands and other territory along the Strait of Hormuz using U.S. troops, that the conflict could be expanded. Maybe that's what he meant by finishing them off. Mike, what do you think about this?
Well, expanded, yes, but are we putting ground troops on mainland Iran? No. It's a smart call from an economic pressure perspective, because if we take their export terminals, we've essentially hit them in their jugular throat. Now, the taking of Karg Island, the military capability in region right now, it exists. It's there between the Marine Corps and the Army. They can absolutely take Karg Island. They would soften the conditions, make sure that they minimize the risk to the troops that take it. But ultimately, and Morgan knows this, the tough part is not taking Karg Island, it's holding it. You lose more troops on the defensive than you do the offensive. So there's a number of measures that need to take place. One, they're going to have to move ships to provide a overlapping defense mechanism for both drones and missiles that could target our troops on Karg. But it is an option at the table. To Morgan's point, critical infrastructure, it's still on the table. It's what we refer to as the final or the nuclear option if we can't get Iran to the negotiation table with an unconditional surrender.
And Captain, as well, they're planning, according to this report, as well as a potential bombing of a tunnel complex at Pickaxe Mountain, a nuclear-linked site the U.S. has yet to target. Expanding airstrikes against more targets in Iran, including energy sites, also remains a possibility. What do you make of this latest news? Is this part of the president's plan that in case Iran doesn't finally settle, they keep acting up, they keep targeting ships going through the Strait of Hormuz, that he will obliterate them?
He's ready to pound them into dust. And when they get that message, I mean, the Iranian leadership has been absolutely insane for 50 years. I mean, think of the craziest person you know, and then multiply that times 10 when dealing with the Iranians. And they've shown that not just under this president, but going back all the way to Carter. So, you know, they seem, the president has offered them carrots and sticks. I mean, just a couple of weeks ago, a lot of Democrats were lamenting about the president offered the Iranians a sweetheart deal. He's given them a way out of this conflict. They don't seem to be taking it. If the only message they're going to understand is the fist, well, Trump's coming with a knuckle sandwich.
Why can't they take the message? I mean, President Trump has basically eliminated their military. I don't understand it. Or do they want the martyrdom, right? Do they want the bloodshed so then they can win the propaganda war in the end?
They're all about power. And that's all they understand is power and force, specifically this region. But to Morgan's point, 47 years of history show us that they're irrational. They're a theocracy, a fanatical theocracy that just does not match with today's 21st century. They are not going to come to the negotiation table. They are never going to surrender. And at this point, I would tell President Trump, cry havoc and unleash let slip the dogs of war, because we're dealing with a regime that understands power, and that is it.
Gentlemen, thank you both.
Great to be with you. Thanks for having me.
All right, one Democrat governor apparently doesn't like billions of dollars in investments as well as thousands of jobs to come to the state either. So why this governor put a pause on artificial intelligence data centers and what this all means, that's next.
Healthy aging support starts here with the innovative nitric oxide science pioneered by Homan, supporting your body from the heart out through circulation, blood flow, blood pressure, and energy. Results you can feel, science you can trust. Get started today at Human.com.
Most people call leaf filter when their gutters are clogged and they notice one of the many issues that can bring. You can get ahead of costly damage by protecting your home's gutters today.
Schedule your free inspection today. Call 833-LEAF-FILTER or visit leaffilter.com.
There's no way a mouthwash can prevent bad breath for 12 hours.
You're right, Bill. Mouthwash can't, but this is dentist-developed Smart Mouth Activated Mouthwash.
Activated?
Yeah, if your mouthwash isn't activated, it's not Smart Mouth. See, this plus this activate for 12 hours of bad breath prevention, guaranteed. Try it. You won't have bad breath in the morning. Good night, Bill.
Get dentist-developed Smart Mouth today. It's the smarter mouthwash, available at these fine retailers.
In America, we believe in hard work, family, and taking care of our own. That's why Safe Step walk-in tubs are proudly designed, built, and assembled in the USA, in the heart of Tennessee, by more than 300 hardworking Americans.
My name is Michelle Johnson. Lamination is where we put the fiberglass, resin, and gel coat on the actual product.
Skilled craft professionals, building every tub with precision, care, and pride. With a low step-in design, built-in safety features, and soothing therapeutic jets, SafeStep helps you stay comfortable, confident, and in control.
My name's Angela Peters. We make sure everything is as perfect as it can be.
When you choose SafeStep, you're not just investing in your home, you're supporting American families and American jobs. Call now for your free in-home consultation and ask about our special offer. SafeStep walk-in tubs, made in Tennessee, made for you.
Feeling winded and short of breath when you should be enjoying life? Your days are made for more than this. And if you find yourself stopping more and more to catch your breath, you could be experiencing what we call temporary oxygen insufficiency. Don't let shortness of breath ruin your day. Give yourself a boost with Boost Oxygen. A few deep breaths of Boost Oxygen is all you need to help combat the negative effects of what we call temporary oxygen insufficiency, so you can get back to doing the things you love. Boost Oxygen contains pure supplemental oxygen that is safe for daily use and comes in a portable, lightweight canister without a prescription.
Now I live life on my terms. With Boost Oxygen, I am unstoppable.
Get all-natural 5-star respiratory support with Boost Oxygen. Get Boost Oxygen at these fine retailers.
New York is hitting the brakes on artificial intelligence. Governor Kathy Hochul is now proposing a first-of-its-kind one-year moratorium on the construction of new AI data centers. She says the pause is needed to study the impact on the electric grid and the environment, as well as arguing that her move is meant to protect New Yorkers from even higher utility bills.
I want them to have to bring your own power source. I said this in my state of the state. Bring your own power source or pay a premium to tap into our grid. I don't want our local ratepayers who are already dealing with sky-high utility bills to have to be burdened with the cost of basically subsidizing these huge, massive centers.
It's her fault and Governor Cuomo's fault that we even have the high utility bills. Of course, President Trump slams her decision, posting on Truth Social today, writing in part, New York State has made a terrible decision. All of this income and other benefits will be now going to red states and some blue, where data centers are sought as cash cows with lower taxes and record-setting jobs. New York should change its policy immediately. The radical left Democrats must not be allowed to cause us to lose data centers, AI, and all of this incredible new technology to China and other countries. So, yeah, while other states are competing to attract the AI revolution, Hochul once again regulating it into oblivion. Make it make sense. Joining me now to discuss NetChoice Director of Policy, Patrick Hedger. Patrick, I can't wrap my brain around why she doesn't want billions in investments and thousands of jobs. I mean, what's going on?
Yeah, I'm not sure I can explain it for you either, but the best guess we have is essentially what we're seeing is that bad policies over the last several decades related to our electric grid are really starting to rear their ugly head. And they're being blamed on data centers, being blamed on artificial intelligence, instead of owning up to the fact that the necessary investments in upgrading our electric grid and making sure we have affordable, reliable power on that grid have not been made. And that's a political problem. And there's a lot of politicians that just don't want to own up to it.
You know, you wrote a piece in the Daily Wire titled, "The battle over AI dominance starts with the states. The states that welcome them will win the future." Why do you say that?
Yeah, we're talking about really billions of dollars in investment. We see examples right now. Meta, for example, has opened a major data center in Northeast Louisiana, communities that haven't seen much investment in generations. And now local restaurants are expanding, other local businesses are expanding. So it's not just the wealth and investment and the tax revenue that the data centers bring in. It's those economic knock-on effects, you know, the people that are actually servicing the people that work at these data centers, whether that's new doctors or new restaurants. There's a lot of benefits to having this technology. And of course, there's the benefit to America as well that we need to lead on AI because we're in a two-horse race with China.
And Governor Hochul claims this is about keeping utility bills down. She's criticized for it. She's up for a re-election. But it's Hochul's policies prior to her predecessor, Governor Cuomo, also his policy, this green new scam. They closed down a nuclear power plant, Indian Point. That caused the bills to skyrocket in the first place. So what is this freeze really about? What do you think this is about? Because, I asked you before, she's saying it's for the utility bill. She's saying not tapping into the grid. Do you think there's external pressures happening here? Is she not getting what she wants under the table? Like, what is going on? Because I don't understand why she would say no to billions of dollars in possible investment and thousands of jobs.
Yeah, what's really happening here is politicians taking the easy way out instead of leveling with voters with what the truth is. There's a lot of misinformation about what data centers are. We've been building data centers in the United States at about a pace of one a week, opening a new one a week for the better part of the last 20 years. This is not just about AI. This interview wouldn't be possible without data centers. Everything you do on your personal device is powered by a data center. Being able to access your health records at multiple locations, regardless of where an ambulance potentially takes you, is enabled by a data center. This is all the modern conveniences we want to have are done in data centers. And so what's happening here is really, really dangerous, not just for AI, but for all of the modern conveniences that we have come to expect. So I really think this is just lazy thinking and sort of kind of getting into caving to unfounded fears that we're seeing about data centers.
Patrick, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Before we go, President Autopen has apparently released a tell-all book claiming he wrote it himself. My thoughts on that next.
As history's preeminent expert on emergency communication, I fully endorse Rapid Radios. They are the only nationwide license-free push-to-talk walkie-talkies without any monthly fees. That's right, you get access to most carriers' networks without a contract. With Rapid Radios, you can communicate instantly from this Washington to that one. Isn't that right, George?
Darn straight. And I don't lie. That's my thing.
Now I know what you're thinking. I don't need no fancy highfalutin walkie-talkie. I've got a cell phone. Cell phones are notoriously unreliable during emergency and when you're in the middle of nowhere. Plus, Rapid Radios are great for remote adventures, emergency preparedness, and workplace communications, and for keeping in touch with your loved ones.
Hey, Pa. Over.
You make me so proud, son. Over. Get your family connected with Rapid Radios today.
Go to rapidradios.com and get up to 60% off today. Plus, free shipping. Rapid Radios. The best way to stay connected.
It's 2 a.m. Your fever spiked and you're miserable. Here's your options.
Urgent care, closed. ER, slammed. And you'll spend hundreds of thousands in both. Telehealth, yeah, but the pharmacies are closed.
That's the reason why we keep emergency medical kits at home.
It has doctor-prescribed medication like generic Z-Pak, amoxicillin, other antibiotics and antivirals. You can treat flu, pneumonia, strep, sinus infections, UTIs, and more.
Because if you're sick in at night, traveling or stranded, you don't want options.
You want what is inside this kit. No waiting, no pharmacy, and no copays.
Just schedule a quick telehealth call.
And that's how you feel better faster and avoid serious complications.
Every family should have this kit, and here's how to order yours.
Order online in minutes and use the promo code to save $45. Your doctor-prescribed kit ships fast to your door, packed with medications to treat over 30 conditions. So when something hits, you're ready. And a wellness company telehealth doctor is always there if you need guidance.
For pain in multiple spots like here, here, or here, Salonpas patches stick firmly and remove comfortably once your pain is gone. Salonpas. It's good medicine.
At Ancestry, we believe every question about the past is a spark. And when curiosity strikes about the everyday lives of your family, we're here with answers only your ancestors can provide. How is your family woven into 250 years of U.S. history? Find out now at Ancestry.
Ponvory is approved for the treatment of relapsing forms of multiple sclerosis in adults. Ponvory lowers the number of white blood cells, lymphocytes, in your blood. Usually, this will return to normal within 1 to 2 weeks of stopping treatment. Ponvory can increase your risk of serious infections that can be life-threatening and may cause death. Ponvory can cause your heart rate to slow down, especially after you take your first dose. Do not take Ponvory if in the last 6 months you had a heart attack, unstable angina, stroke, or other severe heart conditions, including certain types of abnormal heart rhythm. The most common side effects of Ponvory include upper respiratory tract infections, elevated liver enzymes, and high blood pressure. Starting treatment with Ponvory will begin with the starter pack. Ask your doctor about Ponvory or visit ponvory.com to learn more. By Vanda Pharmaceuticals.
First, Dr. Jill Biden wrote a tell-all book, and now her husband is following in her footsteps with a book of his own, apparently. Biden's team releasing a 2-minute social media video announcing the book will touch upon everything from the economy to his decision to drop his bid for re-election. The so-called memoir titled Promise Me America. Biden saying he wrote about the challenges we face as a nation and why he decided to step aside. Well, first off, we know Obama and Pelosi actually were the ones that staged the coup and kicked him off the ticket. And if this book was about the knife that they lodged into his back, now that is a book I would have read. As for him claiming he wrote the tell-all, clearly he used an auto pen for 4,000 pardons. This is the same guy who saw dead people. He didn't know how to get off the stage, and he needed help. Look at that. That was like elder abuse at that point. And he needed help from the Easter Bunny, tripping and falling. Funny, though, how they have him releasing this book after the midterms, almost like they don't want him in the public eye. I wonder why. All right, that'll do it for this edition of Frontline. I'm Lidia Curanaj. Trust and remember, God is with you in all ways. Always.
Information. Truth. Is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.